this is going to be sort of a tips and tricks, some things that I think when fighting in naval action and sailing. First of all, let's change the front and back ammo to chain, because they're not gonna make that much difference in the hole, so when shooting in an enemy ship's hole, so you might as well destroy sails with it, because it's always advantage if you can stop your enemy. And here's another thing that I generally, or first thing that I generally do, the thing that I think everyone should learn if when fighting against another ship, especially if it's a more stronger ship than yours. Always try to present your front end. I'm not sure what it's. Is it a bow in English? In any case, always try to be in this position against enemy ship if his side is turned against you and ready to shoot. Also, besides that, this presents a smaller target with better frontal armor for the enemy ship. It also presents a possibility to get behind enemy ship into the rake shot situation, which is the ideal shot position. I'm gonna try to shoot it here because the enemy ship isn't turning. This rake shot went a little bit by, but in general, little bit missed. In general, the old sailing ships are very soft from behind. The cannonballs easily sink into the ship and they do a lot of damage because of the weaker armor behind. Most of the armor is in the side, so shooting from the side is it's easier to hit, but it's also a little bit more time consuming to destroy the armor from the side. So always presenting your nose to the enemy side is the first thing that you should learn and master, even with the smaller ships, even the beginning of your sailing career, and especially then. That will give you more survivability in battles if you learn that. The second thing that you will have to learn is to use your sails with the wind. And that especially comes into play when playing with the bigger ships, like this one here. Let's put the crew on gunnery so that they will go a bit faster. Now here is a compass, but this arrow doesn't point to north, it points the direction of the wind. So that is a very important thing to understand and to follow. Now, to turn ship you sort of turn the front sails as you turn front wheels of the car. But if you know a Halo or Thok, it has a turning back wheels too, and so sailing ship has a turning back wheels too in a way of turning back sails. Like here, I'm only turning back sails, the front sails are on the wind. And now I'm turning in another way, I'm turning my back sails away from the wind, so it doesn't affect them at all, and only sailing with the front sail. Now of course the wind is using both of the sails. And when you're turning against the wind, you have to start putting the front sail, as you can see here, in a direction that the wind doesn't push the sail anymore. I'm gonna do these turns for a while, so observe. Again, turning to the wind, only using the front sail, and turning the back sails with the wind so that the wind affects them as small amounts as possible. Now what this does, turning with sails, is it makes your ship turn faster. Now I'm sailing straight, so I'm gonna just let the sails be straight line. I shoot a shot to check the distance, and then the whole side, and now I'm turning again to the wind, and I'm letting the wind push my back sails, and trying to turn the front sail so that it doesn't get affected by the wind. And when it's all the way sideways, straightening it up and turning the sails again. Now many ships they sail a little bit in a turn position. As you can see, the wind pushes the ship here onto the right side, so that it moves in a tilted position. Now this tilting presents a problem when you're shooting. If you're shooting to this side, it doesn't really present a problem as long as the enemy ship is in a certain distance. But when shooting here, you can't shoot lower than this. Now this means that if I sail from this side of the enemy ship, as I'm now sailing, I will not be able to shoot. Now to counter this, there's two ways. You can either press B and put paddle sails on, but the other way, a much quicker way, is to turn your sails so that the wind doesn't affect them. Now your ship is leveling up, you can shoot. This is also, I think, a very important thing to learn. Also, you can use this effect if you want to shoot extremely far. The enemy is on the upside of the wind. Upside meaning that the wind is blowing from the enemy's side. just situation there. So when you want to turn your ship to, if you want to shoot further away, you can just turn all your sails to the wind, so that it tilts the ship as much as possible, and you will gain more range to your guns. Those situations come very rarely, so it's not very important to understand. But this, how you turn your sails, that's a very important thing. Also, a very important thing to learn is to learn not to have the wind affect your sailing direction. And that means that you have to learn how to turn your ship against the wind, not just towards the wind. And I'm gonna do a wind turn against the wind. So I'm gonna turn my front sail first to so that the wind doesn't affect it, and turn my back sails so that the wind pushes my rear end of the ship. Now when I reach the tipping point, I will lose the wind from the front sails and turn the back sails in the other direction, so that the wind will blow my ship first from the back sails and now from the front sail, and it basically almost turns in a present state. It doesn't actually move that fast forward, it just stops and turns very quickly. This is another thing that you should do as much as possible in the beginning, and to learn how to do that comfortably. Once you master that, all the options, tactical options in a naval combat becomes to your aid. You can pretty much do anything. The wind doesn't affect your movements. If you don't learn this, you always have to sail towards the downwind, so that the wind is behind you, and that really limits your options in the battle. Okay, here I'm again approaching the enemy from the side and aiming for the race shot. And since the wind is directly from behind, I don't have to do anything with the sails. I'm leveled up already. Just fire away. And because I have shot my other broadside and it's loading, I want to turn to the other side, shoot the sails with guns. Again, frontal sails as dead as possible, using it really that much. And now I'm going to turn against the wind, so I'm going to turn my back sails so that the wind pushes my rear end to the turn, and I'm going to shoot. Doesn't matter, the enemy ship is almost sunk already. There is another way to turn the ship against the wind too, but it's much slower and it stops the ship. That's the way that the AI uses. It basically turns the sails against the wind and stops the ship, and once the ship starts to sort of back up, reverse, goes into reverse, the ship is turned, pretty much like steering a car. But it's very slow, and it will stop you, and it will make you an easy target for the time that you are turning. That's basically the pinpoints of my tactical knowledge on one-on-one combat. Now I have to say that combat in bigger battles where there is multiple ships, those are a totally different thing. But in my knowledge, in my experience, the side that plays more into one group as one team will most likely win. Stranglers and lone wolves will get sunk very quickly and will basically play against their own team, so you should always sail with others, do a proper line, and even sacrifice yourself for the team if necessary. That's my opinion on team battles. But on one-on-one battles, that's the tactics you should always use. Of course, you should always try to keep yourself behind the enemy ship, and if you are in a position where enemy ship is doing these turns behind you and shooting constantly on your back, you should not continue to that situation, but instead you should always turn against the wind so that the enemy has to pass you, and in turn go into the downwind. Now unfortunately I can't show you that situation or tactic right now because of obvious reasons. But I suggest that you start to learn those things from right now and think a lot during the battles, not just randomly shoot and sail. That's about it. Hopefully these things were helpful for you.